Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. I guess it's the afternoon for most people, and not for the Great Brown Hope and myself. But welcome in, everyone, to episode 17 of the Main Event Mixer. And I got a loaded cast of characters here with me today from the main event. First off, to my right, Jay Gold from the Indie Wrestling Guide. Sir, how are we doing?
Doing good, good. Thanks for having me back on, guys. Good to see everybody.
No, it's good to see you, sir. And we got the man representing the Philadelphia Eagles, who are in the NFC Championship game, one half of the Wrestling Junkies, the podcast dad. Sir, what's going on?
Hi, guys.
How you feeling?
That's it. Let's see. The whole house has the flu, minus me. I drank two bottles of wine last night. It needs to be 3 o'clock.
Oh, all right. Fair enough. Mr. Cincinnati is here as well, your co-host on the Wrestling Junkies. Eric, how we doing?
Hey, you know what? I was gonna choose to be nice today because you got on us pre-show here, so I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna say hello, gentlemen. Great to see you all. Podcast Dad, I know that you've been looking forward to this for the better part of 6 months. The sooner that we get this game over with, the sooner you will shut the fuck up. Keep the flu in the Hoops household. Do not bring that shit to Indy next weekend, please, and thank you.
Yes,
I
second that.
We'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. We're getting it out of the way now.
And it's also great to see the Great Brown Hope, the lead blogger here at the main event. Sir, how are we doing?
What's up, everybody? Good morning. It's finally raining out here.
Really?
Yeah, we got a little bit of rain last night. It looks like it's gonna rain all day today, but I think that's all we're gonna get all year.
I was gonna say you were close to the fires. Is everything all right with you guys over there?
No, yeah, we're okay. We were literally surrounded by everything, but we were close to all the areas where they were calling evacuation orders. So we were always on standby, just waiting to get that call, But thankfully, everything's okay. We're okay. Everybody's in the family okay. So. Got to move on.
That's awesome, man. Hey, it's good to hear that. Good to see you guys. We got a lot to talk about because Saturday night's main event happened once again last night. And, of course, we got the Royal Rumble next weekend. But before we get into all that good stuff, guys, you can see the T-shirt that I'm wearing. It is very comfortable. And I got this at Gorilla Press Apparel. The Indie Wrestling Guide and the Wrestling Junkies know all about these guys over there. Will at Gorilla Press doing amazing stuff. If you want to check out the other merch that they have available there, go to gorillapressapparel.bigcartel.com and use code MEM24. Yes, that code is still active. I talked to Will this morning about it, so it's good to go. But Jay Gold, I know you are familiar with Gorilla Press. You want to tell the listeners a little bit about, what they're about?
Will, our buddy Will over in Ohio, and last time I saw him in Florida, and he's all over the place. Will is great. And he makes a bunch of our shirts. He made our Defunct Pro Wrestling shirts and the Sharpshooter Society T-shirt. And there's a bunch that he makes that I love. And the prices are good. And he gives us a code too. If you listen to our show, you get $20 off as well. So shout out to Will. He makes a lot of this happen. He's made a lot of our indie stuff happen as far as the IW Guide belt goes. So love Will.
Chunkies, I'm sure you share the same sentiment as Jay Gold over here about Will.
Yeah, 10 out of 10, no notes. Not much more that there is to add. Yeah, I mean, if you're a wrestler, referee, manager, promoter, whoever's watching out there right now, you need some merch for your tables, go give him a shout. He does phenomenal work. If you've seen what Gary J is doing with his merch lines as of late, you'll know how fucking quality it is.
Yeah, and like I said, I love the 3/4 look on a tee. This is fantastic, guys. So definitely check them out and show some love because every main event mixer is brought to you by Gorilla Press Apparel. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, guys. We are currently just sitting at 53 subscribers, so we are on the road to 100. And since I'm feeling generous, the Royal Rumble's on the horizon. If we reach 100, I will give away a free piece of main event merch. So all you got to do is hit that subscribe button.
Nice.
And hey, Greg Brown, you got some Four Loco gear, maybe?
I got a lot. I've got stuff going for the OTM 400 followers. I've got stuff for Tim Vicious's giveaways. But yeah, we can give away some Four Loco stuff for us to get 100 followers. Why not?
I like that.
Yeah.
So guys, make sure you're following us on all the socials at @mainevent_net. That's where you're going to check out all this content. And at the end of this episode, I will let these guys plug all their respective podcasts. But guys, I did say we have a lot to talk about, so we might as well jump right into things. Start with Saturday night's main event, and that started with Rhea Ripley successfully retaining her title against Nia Jax. And I've been very vocal on social media talking about how great Nia Jax has been as of late. I have come around to her, but I know the Great Brown Hope has been a rider with Nia Jax from day one. So let me go to the Great Brown Hope first here. What did you think about this opening match? Because I really enjoyed it.
Well, I liked it a lot. It served its purpose. I mean, Nia wasn't going to win. I wanted Nia to win, but it wasn't going to happen. And now you give another credible win to Rhea Ripley, and it's not like she ran through Nia Jax. It was a good back and forth action, gave both of them a chance to shine. So the right person won. It's all good. Nia will be back. Nia's going to win the Rumble. So that match didn't matter.
Yeah,
Podcast Dad, this was obviously a very predictable outcome, but I still think it exceeded my expectations.
Yes. Look, I wasn't the biggest fan of Nia Jax when she came back. I didn't hide that. I don't hide much on our show, but she has been booked very well. She's improved. I love the presentation of her. This was a good match. It was good to get Rhea on this show. It's good to get Nia on the show. I think the move to Raw will help Nia, because I don't know what else she would do on SmackDown. She already won the title. She beat a bunch of people, and Tiffany Stratton's just above her right now anyway. So I don't know where she would have fit. You also have a pretty good challenger for like Lyra Valkyria when that point comes for her to either take that title or help Lyra continue to establish that title. So overall, the return of Nia Jax has been much, much better than I've expected.
Yeah, she legitimately feels like a main event superstar. And the one thing I did want to touch on, too, is that I did notice that there was a different presentation, still similar to the last time they did Saturday night's main event. But Jay Gold, I don't know if you noticed the microphones that came down from the ceiling and everything. I thought that was a nice additional touch to this episode.
Well, that was the first thing I saw, but I think you tweeted out also the Spanish announce team laid over the English version to start the show, and I really wanted to, because I was at the original one, and I wanted to see what they were showing on TV this time around, and I just couldn't hear it. It was just everything was overlaid on top of each other. But the presentation's great. I love what they do for it. It gives me a little nostalgia. But there's one thing I just wanted to bring up about that Nia Jax Rhea Ripley match. We will be completely transparent and honest. There was no one on this. There was no way there was going to be anything that big coming out of last night's show because of the Royal Rumble. So if you're going to go, even Nia Jax kind of threw it out on, was it Monday, when she came out and said, I'm entering into the Royal Rumble and I'm going to win the belt. And then she's like, but first, and she had to correct herself because she knew how silly it sounded. So, there wasn't any groundbreaking match. No one was going to lose last night. And that was one of the problems I think they're going to see when they get ratings, is that people like us also looked at it and went, well, no one's losing, so why am I tuning in except for the nostalgia? So that was my only problem with it. Great match. I love Nia Jax can speak. I like to hear her shout and say stuff to each other over and over again. But, no one was going to change. There was no groundbreaking moments last night.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Mr. Cincinnati, you got any additional thoughts on this opener here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time that we end, for those out there that still want to try to find some flaw in Nia's game, there's no reason to have these conversations anymore. The first run wasn't great. I think, she had a world title run. I think possibly, I think tag titles were second act, but either way, she went away. She learned a new hold. She came back better than she was before. She's a main eventer now. You can put her anywhere with anybody on the card, which was not something that you can say that you were going to do with her the first time around. Triple H has his finger on the pulse. He turned Nia into the true irresistible force that she is. And that's not changing anytime soon. Jay Gold, I agree with you. The presentation production wise is very old school meets new school. These are just ways to advertise Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. That's kind of what these television specials are on a Saturday night, is a couple of hours, just because you're not going to get the majority of your 18 to 49 like you would on a Monday or a Tuesday or even a Friday night. This was great opener. Nia and Rhea really have some great chemistry, so I do want to see them wrestle again this year since Nia's on Raw. A number of fun new matchups to have, so let's see where it takes her.
I think it was one of the podcasters that I follow on X. He just said, Rhea Ripley was waiting to pull out the bag and do flippy shit once, and Nia was the only person that she could really do flippy shit against. But Rhea really did pull out all the tricks, and I really enjoyed that. It was probably my second favorite match of the night, but the match that happened afterwards was... It lived up to expectations. A lot of us were excited for this one, and rightfully so, because Braun Breaker successfully retained against Sheamus. Now, the narrative has been that Sheamus just is trying to become a Grand Slam champion. Mr. Cincinnati, I am not sure how much longer we can continue that narrative, because Sheamus is getting these opportunities. He's having great matches, but he's still not winning, and that kind of bothers me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if there was ever of all the title matches that we had on this card last night, this is the one where a title switch could have made some sense. I mean, I know that we've seen Braun lose his title to Jey Uso already once before. Braun's 26 years old. Like, there's plenty of time to make sure that he's ready for a main event scene. Like, there's nothing, a loss to Sheamus, who is already a Hall of Famer, without needing to actually capture this title is not a bad thing. Sheamus, this is and we've been seeing this trend over the last 8 to 10 years of wrestlers in their mid to late 40s that are wrestling like guys half of their age. Sheamus is no different here. A nostalgia Intercontinental title run for Sheamus, and if you want to put it back on Braun at WrestleMania, give him a WrestleMania moment, you could easily do that there too. I mean, anything is better than what we saw in 2012 with Sheamus and how he lost to Daniel Bryan. Like, you can still have him walk in with the belt, put it back on Braun, do whatever you're going to do with him. But yeah, I think it's time to... I don't even know how Sheamus justifies another rematch here at this point. I mean, I don't know.
That was my question, but Podcast Dad, you might have something cooking over there. You look like you got something.
Yeah, Sheamus is going to win the Rumble. He's going to challenge Braun at Mania. That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Everybody relax.
We're getting uncomfortable. I was getting very uncomfortable for a minute.
Everybody calm down.
Idea. I like that idea.
What did you learn from that?
That's terrible. Yeah, I still think we're going to get Sheamus and Braun at Mania. I think Sheamus is going to get his moment at Mania, kind of get the last chance kind of thing. I mean, this match was really good. Sheamus puts on banger after banger after banger, as we know. Like, he's a great wrestler. And the story's there, but eventually you gotta win. So, like, Mania might be that last moment to do it where I actually care. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Great Bound Hope, how did you feel about this one?
It's pushing the same narrative as when Big Show won his Intercontinental title back then.
Yep.
And I don't know. I don't really like Sheamus being involved all the time. It's kind of like putting the same person in the World Heavyweight title picture and whatnot. It's just like Braun Breaker had said, oh, look, here comes Sheamus. Every time somebody wins the title, here comes Sheamus, come knocking on the door. Oh, I won an Intercontinental Championship match. I mean, is that going to be his gimmick the rest of the year or until he captures it? Because when Big Show wanted that belt, he won at WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes, and he ruined what was Cody Rhodes' monumental Intercontinental title reign just to lose it back to Cody Rhodes on an episode of Monday Night Raw because he stepped on a table. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if they're going to give Sheamus the Intercontinental Championship, he's got to go on an all-time run with it, maybe his last run with a belt, and make it a banger. But to be honest, I don't see that happening. I think after he lost yesterday, he's probably going to go back to NXT and team with Holland. So
interesting. I mean,
he hasn't held the NXT tag titles either. You can go for those. Go for it.
I mean, the way that they've been utilizing main roster talent in NXT, it's definitely a realistic possibility nowadays.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's something I could see. But guys, man, this match, the physicality, that spear where they jumped off the steps and caught him midair. It looked like Braun Breaker was playing football, Jay Gold, and we know his history playing college football.
Well, two things that ruled about this. The first one was Jesse Ventura finally,
Yes.
give me more Jesse Ventura talking about the Steiners and running down how dumb they are. And I just love Jesse. I love it. That voice it hasn't changed either. I know his mental state has probably changed, but everything that he does out there, Jesse Ventura rules. Now, the biggest problem with Sheamus and Braun Breaker is that you also effectively killed Ludwig Kaiser. And I'm a huge Ludwig Kaiser fan. and he looks like $1 million. There's no chance he's getting back in. You had 3 guys for, what was it, 5 months that you had 3 guys going for one title, and nothing. You got nothing for any of them except for Braun still has the title. So now what do you do with Kaiser? He's just a lackey again for Gunther. And then you have Sheamus. Now we're all trying to decide, well, now what the hell do we do with him, right? Do you give him a gimmick? He's older than me at this point. Like, Sheamus, let's go. Like, either, shit or get off the pot, so to speak. So, where we are is now what? So that's my issue with the way they've done. And I think WWE falls into that. Triple H is booking into the different feuds. You have like 3 or 4 people in the same feud. It goes on for months. Only one person ever gets any shine from it. And then you're stuck with 2 guys. You're like, now what? So great match. Fun to see people beat the snot out of each other. But it's now I'm like, okay, where does he go? And what happens to the other guys that I actually like? So, good match, good fight. But, there's so many questions now.
That's actually a really good point. Podcast Dad, you got something?
I'm wondering like how the Bronson Reed injury kind of affected plans a little bit. So maybe they went back to the well with Sheamus. Bronson Reed was on a roll, and I could have seen Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker tear it up. But I mean, that's just thinking about it, like thinking of other contenders for Braun moving forward. Yeah. Like I'm wondering if that injury played a big factor into it.
There is one contender who is on his way back sooner than later. I mean, it seems like he's going to pull a Super Cena type return from that ACL injury. Ilya Dragunov takes that title off of Braun this year.
Yeah,
that's the best one. So? That's the best one. The best possible scenario.
They have great matches in NXT.
Yep,
they have some history. So
what if we
visit that history?
What if we get Dragunov?
Save that for post WrestleMania.
Oh, Dragunov and Gunther definitely needs to happen. Great, bro.
Well, I mean, the other one too is when's Ray Phoenix coming?
I don't know.
Put it on Penta.
Situation.
Why not?
Penta could win the IC title. I could definitely see that happening very soon. Maybe maybe WrestleMania. Have you seen the presentation for Penta lately?
Same thing with somebody that might be coming back here soon as well, and an Aleister Black. Like I think.
Oh my God!
There's a lot of contenders that they can have, but we need to move on from Sheamus.
Are they going to get into that AEW position where there's just too much talent and guys have nothing to do?
Because they have 3 shows. They have 3 shows that are branded
and Speed.
3 shows that are branded
and Speed. Hey, Mr. Cincinnati, you still watching Speed?
You know what?
Who's the champion?
It's no 205 Live, but it'll last.
It's Dragon Lee, despite the fact that he's never on TV. Chad Gable, Charlie Dempsey, a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Gable versus Dempsey was insane on Speed. You guys are missing out. If you guys aren't missing out,
I saw that. That one was real graps. That was real.
Man. Dempsey is coming, man.
Everybody, hold your excitement for the name that I'm about to pull up on the screen. Because Jacob Fatu, I'm not even going to say a star is born. A star was reborn here at Saturday night's main event, and he didn't even technically.
Gaga.
God, this is true. I know you're a big Gaga guy. Podcast Dad, let me go to you first. Jake, just tell me a little bit about Jacob Fatu and how you're feeling, because I'm almost out of words to describe this guy.
So I don't know when I said it on our podcast, but he's going to win the Royal Rumble next year. That's my prediction for next year. Is he's gonna win the Rumble next year and become like a huge baby face, and that's gonna be the guy that's gonna main event WrestleMania next year. They're cheering him last night. He beat the piss out of Braun Strowman, kept going back and doing it, trying to be the biggest heel he could be, and they kept chanting Fatu. Like they have something. That dude's gonna be a star. You and I talked about it on the group text. It's Umaga, but he's going to get pushed correctly this time. And Umaga that can speak, and Umaga that is going to get pushed to that main event and not run into a Super Cena. This is going to be like the guy here soon, and they have a bunch of these guys, but he's it. I mean, he's got all the star qualities.
Yeah.
I also think that Braun Strowman was the perfect adversary to kind of showcase him on Saturday night's main event because. Yeah. Listen, whether you liked it or not, this is a former world heavyweight champion, and Braun knows how to work. So you got the best out of Jacob Fatu here for sure. Great Brown Hope. How did you feel about this one? It wasn't a long match, but physicality was definitely there.
Oh, it was perfect. And it's just like you said, Braun Strowman was the perfect guy to put this guy over for his, this was his first televised singles match, right?
Yep.
With WWE. And he's just a gnarly, gritty thug. Like that gimmick never works in wrestling. It never works. It only goes so far. But Jacob Fatu is so fucking scary. Like you could actually, if I saw him in a dark alley, I'm handing him my wallet, my shoes, my belt, everything. Take it. Leave me alone. Don't hurt me. Like this guy is scary, and it comes off well. And Braun Strowman was the perfect guy to be like, hey, I'm this big, massive, scary guy too. I'll take you on. Let's see how scary you really are. And he paid the price for it. And now we're probably not going to see him until he comes back with the White Six.
Ooh.
Oh no!
Oh, I kind of like that.
Nope.
Jay Gold says no.
Don't forget, Bray Wyatt tried to brainwash him to come back. Uncle Howdy might be able to pull it off.
I could be
Braun
the
Strowman
biggest.
has done nothing.
I am the biggest Braun Strowman hater. There is nothing. Zero. There's less. What's the word for less than zero that I get out of that dude? He's just this stiff, lumbering. I don't even know. The only thing I loved was when Brock Lesnar popped him in his grill and he told him to slow down. Like that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Yeah. Jacob Fatu is an animal. I love him more than anything on this show. He doesn't belong in WWE because he is so perfect in his character and his and just what he knows what to do. But Braun Strowman, okay, thanks, buddy. See you. All right, here. Don't let me get you an ambulance. You're good. We'll see you in 6-7 months. I'm happy. They just seem to shoehorn him into things, and it just doesn't. Okay, you want to use him as a guy who gets to get someone else over? Great, but otherwise, no, thank you. Braun Strowman, enjoy yourself. That's the end of it. I don't get anything out of him.
Hey, fair enough. To each their own. But I like what Tucky's saying in the chat. Hey, he liked how they acknowledged Fatu's criminal past. They're kind of leaning into it and made it more into his character. Mr. Cincinnati, I don't know if that's something you noticed, but I like that touch too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen this before with Booker T, kind of in the mid to late 2000s, being very upfront about that as well. Podcast Dad says Jacob Fatu wins the Royal Rumble main event WrestleMania next year. At the trajectory he's on right now, you can make him King of the Ring and put that title on him, at least the big gold on him by SummerSlam, and no one would say a word.
I wouldn't.
You could put the world title on him this year, I think, if you do a proper King of the Ring push.
First of all, don't call it big gold, you son of a bitch.
You can either you don't get to pick
big
both
gold.
of that. I can
Not
either
big gold.
not talk shit about the
Big gold.
Eagles or
Mini
call
gold.
it big. You can't have both today.
Didn't talk shit about the Eagles. That's mini gold, and you know it. And you know it.
Well, hold on. Let me add to that.
You can't have everything.
It is still big gold because last night when they went over Sheamus's accomplishments, they showed a picture of the current world heavyweight title when it said
That's my
World
motherfucker.
Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
It's not big gold.
It's not big gold. Same lineage. They've established
Put it in the chat, everybody, if you're watching live.
They've
Is it big
established
gold
it.
or is it not? And by the way, there is about 30 people watching live right now. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button,
That's
guys.
big
We
gold.
are on the road to 100, and we are currently, I believe, only at 53. So be a friend and tell a friend. What's that magic number, Podcast Dad?
Just one. Tell one person if you like what we're doing here. Hell, like I said, go to Jimmy John's. Tell the cashier. What's it going to do? You're already paying him anyway.
Ooh, I got a story for you
private person,
guys. I got a story for you guys. So
Real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
We were talking about his criminal past, and then Michael Cole followed that up with he used to sleep on a mattress. Me too. that was the worst line that I heard all night was Michael Cole going, and he used to sleep on a mattress.
I think I think he should have followed it with on the floor, but
Or something.
right.
Something.
But it's not big gold, it's J Gold. So we could just that's fine with
there
me.
we
You
go.
can call it that if you want.
There it is, sponsored by the Main Event Network.
There you go.
No, I-
Go ahead.
You know, it's funny. I was at the bar on Friday, and I was wearing my LA Knight T-shirt and a WWE SmackDown hat. And our waitress comes up to us. She goes, "Are you a wrestling fan?" I go, "Lady, oh, do I got a story for you?" So I went down the rabbit hole, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to the Royal Rumble next weekend." She's like, "Oh, what'd you spend on those tickets? Like $100?" I go, "No, I spent about like $500." She goes, "What is wrong with you?" I go, "Hey, it's the life."
Should have said, mind your
marks, right?
business. Beat it. Stop
Yeah.
She
talking.
stole my hat, though.
Yeah.
She was also probably in her 40s, so I wasn't interested. It didn't matter to me. But let's get back to wrestling here. Quick segment I want to touch on because the contract signing for Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens happened here on Saturday night's main event. And we got to see an HBK super kick, sweet chin music. I wasn't expecting that. I popped pretty hard for it. Jay Gold, how'd you feel about this segment setting up for the Royal Rumble?
I hate contract signings. I think it's turned into where I'm too jaded. First of all, I've watched entirely too much wrestling at this point. I think I figured out, but it's fine. Shawn Michaels, great. Kevin Owens is a guy that you watch like us with enjoyment. There's nothing that he doesn't get. There's nothing he doesn't understand about his own character. There's nothing he doesn't understand about how to get something over. There's just something so pure about who he is, whatever side you want him on, heel, face, whatever. Great. I just hate that he took a super kick. I would have liked it better if he stunned Shawn Michaels and teased the super kick, and then the fans didn't get what they wanted because he's the bad guy. He's supposed to be like, nope, you're not getting that. But, are we all in agreement or not? I don't know if you guys give this thought, is that Cody's kind of title reign is starting to get a little stale on me. But I also don't think he's losing that belt to KO, which is unfortunate either. You just didn't give me enough to prove that it's going to happen. So,
see, I don't know, Podcast Dad, because you know how go home shows are. If the one person comes out on top, sometimes the other person is going over. That's the only reason why I'm like, oh, maybe Kevin Owens will win at the Royal Rumble, but I don't know if you agree with that.
I mean, we still have Raw and SmackDown too, so
sure,
there's still time. I didn't really need the segment. It was fine. You could have had this on SmackDown. It was out because they were in San Antonio and Shawn got the pop and whatever. Sure. It sucks because the super kick is so devalued now that Kevin Owens selling it like he got shot was just not as good when I saw Gunther take like 4 of them in the main event and kick out at 1. So it doesn't have the same luster as it used to, and that's unfortunate because when Shawn hit the sweet chin music, it was over. That was a wrap, right? Yeah. But it just doesn't have that same oomph as it used to anymore. I'm tired of them talking to each other, kind of thing. I'm ready for the match. I didn't need this segment on this show.
Yeah.
Mr. Cincinnati, would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. It was there. I mean, it's Saturday night's main event. You want to have the face of your company on that show in some way because it is being hyped up as a television special like that. That's what it is those are names that you're going to want to put out there to do something. This could have easily been done on SmackDown, but again, these shows serve the purpose of showing some, it's giving big championship matches for the fans that are going to tune in because, they've already got our dollars. They already know that we are going to want to watch this show. But this is for the casual viewer that may not know what's going on or may have only just saw Raw on Netflix for the first time this week and kind of, coming in with it. This is fine. I like this because the purpose of this was not just to sign the contract. They both had to give their belts up for the week. That's a fun wrinkle for this, that this is about those belts and this animosity. We know that they're going to beat the piss out of each other. They've been talking about it for months, but they both had to give up what they hold dear going into this week. So it's going to put them on edge. So I'm not expecting any sort of, wait for the bell to ring sort of start to this match on Saturday.
Well said. Great Brown Hope, anything else you want to add about this segment?
Oh, yeah. Just I feel the same. The contract signings are pretty worn out. It's boring as hell. You already know what to expect. It's like any minute now they're going to break down and fight. The last interesting contract signing was when The Fiend signed with Blood. You guys remember that? That was the last interesting one to me. But oh, shit, my bad. I think those contract signings would be better reserved for Saturday night's main event in the future if they have more, keep them off Raw, keep them off SmackDown. You could put them on Saturday night's main event to help fill the slots. I mean, it's a glorified house show. So, you remove that from the TV journeys and it'll be okay. Put it on Saturday night's main event. If they got to do a contract signing, it's not that big of a deal. and then you eliminate having to force that onto the show and having some people, oh, it's another contract signing, and you risk people tuning out of the channel, and now you may have lost them for the night too. So there's
Let
always
me
that.
ask you guys a question real quick. Do you ever feel like the matches at the Royal Rumble are secondary to where it really doesn't matter? Because the Rumble matches are so important and so intricate and so well done that, like, do you ever go like, because I have a party and we have people over, and like during the matches, people are gone. They go eat, they go to the bathroom, they're like, whatever.
Yeah, like
Everybody wants to do the Rumble. They want to watch the Rumble. They want to gamble on the Rumble. They want to, you get to those matches and you're like, am I that excited when I'm watching the Rumble going, I can't wait for Cody and KO? No, I'm like, hey, the women's or the men's match just ended. Give me the next one. I want another hour and a half of people coming out in surprises. Do I care who's wrestling? Nah. Like, I know it's a ladder match, but give me that on something else.
Most of the time, I would agree with you that they're less significant. But I think if the story warrants it, my excitement levels are going to be there. But then again, I'm not the casual fan. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because more of the casual that's not tuning in every week is probably just interested in the Rumbles because new superstars coming in every minute and a half. So,
yeah.
I mean,
but
that's
look
just me.
Look at this card this year, though. Yeah, we've got the men's and women's matches, but we have a ladder match on the card for the first time, I think, since 2001. I think Benoit Jericho was the last ladder match that happened at a Rumble. And then on top of that, we're getting DIY and Johnny Gargano in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Or DIY and Motor City Machine Guns. I apologize. 2 out of 3 falls. Like there's, I mean, you've already got the excitement of the Rumbles, but for the casual viewer, it's these guys have to climb a ladder. They're gonna be beating the brakes off each other. That one's gonna be very, very physical. And then the tag title match that's gonna have some excitement too, because that's gonna be a very, very high paced, high octane kind of 2 out of 3 falls match. I think people are gonna be glued to this one from pillar to post.
Yeah, and we talk casual fans. Podcast Mom's going. And I talked to her about the other 2 matches on the card, and she's like, "Oh, like there's going to be a ladder match, and that's cool." And I said, and then the next one's a 2 out of 3 falls, which she's like, didn't know what that meant, and I had to sit there and explain that to her. She's like, "Oh, that could be a lot of fun." I'm like, "Yeah, like that. That's the point." Like, I think I understand what you're saying, Jay Gold, as far as most years it's I want to watch the Rumble, but when you think about the matches that stick out from previous Rumbles, they usually have that stipulation, right? Like I remember the John Cena Umaga match at the Royal Rumble, because it was an I Quit or a Last Man Standing match, and it was
KO
awesome.
and Roman,
KO and Roman,
Thunderdome,
Triple H, Cactus Jack,
exactly.
Rock and Foley.
It usually has some sort of
Triple H Cactus Jack work because the Garden felt so hectic in those days. Like I used to love going to MSG for shows. That match worked so well because the Garden felt so gritty that it worked. It just felt bigger. Sometimes these big shows swallow up the show because the arenas are the stadiums are so big.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pumped for the entire card. So, I think they built it well. Maybe we'll get one more, but I think so far.
That's what I was going to ask the Great Brown Hope if he thinks there's another match that could be added.
No, I don't think so. I think they're pretty much filled up. They got 2 Rumble matches going down, and to touch on what Jay Gold said. Back then, the main event matches for the main event titles were people that they were testing out to see if they would work in the main event title picture. Like they had Hardcore Holly, Jeff Hardy. I can't remember the rest at this point, but there were a couple of main events where it was just to test people out, to see how they could fit into the main event picture, because everybody else was looking forward to the Rumble matches, and now we have 2 Rumble matches to look forward to every night. But I think with taking away that type of booking, it actually gives more anticipation to the other matches, which has been different now, the way that they're put together towards, okay, now we're not just looking forward to the Rumble, now we're looking forward to these 2 ending their feud, these 2 continuing their feud, or now these 4 teams are fighting over some tag titles. It's important again. Every match is important, even if we're down to 4 or 5 matches on regular pay-per-views, they're all important, they all matter.
Yeah, this year more than... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the only thing I would add to this card, if anything, even if it's not necessarily matches for either of these titles, but something that involves our new women's mid-card champions. This is the first PLE since both of them have been crowned. You need to, I mean, yeah, we know the Rumble's important. We know what's on the line there, but you also need to make those titles feel important too. Now that we're firmly into 2025 and the pay-per-view calendar, we have these champions. You know, let's get them some screen time because not everybody is. 29 other women are not going to win the Royal Rumble match, so some of them, from a storytelling standpoint, need to say, all right, well, if I don't have a shot at this one, that might be more attainable and kind of get some eyes on what this mid-card can do.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. You would think that showcasing brand new titles would be a part of their agenda, but who knows? Maybe we'll get like elimination chamber matches with one of them. That would be pretty cool, I think. But that's a topic for another day. One more match to talk about here, guys, from Saturday night's main event. And it was the main event as Jey Uso lost and put up a really strong fight, which personally I wasn't a fan of. I talked about it on my respective show. I'm not going to get into the details about it. You can go check it out if you want. But I wanted to see a convincing win out of Gunther Great Brown Hope, and he really did it.
What is he now? 3-0 against Jay?
Probably.
Just like everybody else,
Yeah.
It is. That is the exact number.
Jey Uso just loses every big match.
He's main event, though.
Yeah. It really doesn't hurt him at all. He comes out the same every single night. If not, the crowds are louder. I mean, they want to see him win. That's something that they haven't had for a while. The last person they had like that was probably Daniel Bryan. That's why I made that tweet last night where I said they're booking Jey Uso like a B+ player. So, I mean, he's going to be chasing stardom for a long, long, long time. He's in the rotation in the midst of a really stacked heavyweight division, but he's always going to be there ready to like Sheamus for the IC title. Jey Uso will always be there, but Jey Uso will always have the crowd, and that crowd momentum he gets just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. He's selling out merch. The stands are filled with Jey Uso shirts and foam hands. This guy is not going anywhere. This is like I think he's pretty much got the Rock's early electricity there. If they book him right, they might have another Rocky on their hands.
Podcast
He's
Dad,
huge. He's massively over.
He is. You're not lying. Podcast Dad, you got any thoughts on this match?
Jey Uso lost another big match. Okay.
You're not a Jey Uso.
Look, he's over, and that's great. He's over. He's selling merch. Good for him. He's not a world title contender, and you cannot convince me he is. You cannot convince. He loses every big match he's in. Literally every big match he loses. So stop calling him main event Jey Uso because he doesn't win. He doesn't win.
You can't wrestle in pleather and win a title.
You can't wear pleather and wear 45 times. It's not working. Like it's the same match every time. Like don't.
It is.
Look, he's over. Incredibly over. Will I yeet in Indy? Hell yeah, yes. I'm going to yeet in Indy. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to have fun doing it. He's not a world champion. Get away from me.
Jay Gold, Mr. Cincinnati, you guys haven't got a chance to speak, so whoever wants to go first. I know this got a lot of thoughts.
I'm just not going to call it. I'm not going to call it super kick anymore. He's doing thrust kicks, so that's it for that. So there's no more super kick. But Gunther is my favorite wrestler, so whatever. Him and Samoa Joe are my two favorites. So anything Gunther does when he wins, and my brother, my nephew at home, they love Gunther, and we talk about, like, he'll text me and be like, this guy shouldn't lose ever. And that's how I always think about Gunther. He should never lose. And when he does, it better be special. And nobody in pleather is taking away the title from Gunther, and no one doing thrust kicks over and over again is taking the title. I agree with you, Podcast Dad. I agree with you about Jey Uso. He is not a world champion. Just isn't. No. He's not. That's cool.
That's okay.
He can come out. Yes, it's great. He's your guy. You can put him into anything. I don't know. I just do not see it. He's not. The aura isn't there to be world champ. Be the IC champ forever. It doesn't matter. But the world champ, you can't. You're not gonna. He's not your. He's not it. It's just not it.
Fair enough, Mr. Cincinnati.
I could not disagree with you guys more.
I knew that was coming.
I'm sorry. I just don't. And you know what? This might turn some heads for me saying this, but I mean, Jey Uso is this generation's Jeff Hardy. He of the two. When you look at Matt and Jeff, you thought Jeff breakout star, Jimmy and Jay breakout star. It took him a while to figure things out with Jimmy, but they're on the right track with it right now. Jimmy can hold down the mid card. Jey Uso, I think, will stay in the main event. If Jeff fucking Hardy, despite all of the problems that he had in his career, can win the world title twice, Jey Uso can win it fucking once.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm with
Jeff
you.
Hardy's aura was a different world, man. Oh my, there was just something different about Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy, Jey Uso.
Yes, sir.
But
I don't
agree with
There
that.
is
Jey
parallels,
Uso, you
though.
have
There's
those.
parallels
He's getting
there.
those same crowd. He's getting monster reactions right now.
So my
The
argument,
same ones that Jeff got, Jay is getting right now.
I'm
And then the
not mad at
Usos had
I'm
more
not
tag
mad at-
success too.
I am not mad at the comparison at all. I think it's a pretty good comparison, to be honest. Jeff Hardy was competing against Matt, right?
He was.
Who's Jey Uso competing against? The Rock, Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, hell, Zilla when he comes in. He's not even the top in his own family. He's going to get compared no matter what to all these guys. And already it looks like Jacob Fatu's going to be above him. Already looks like they have better plans for Solo above him. Roman is already there. Rock's already there. Like it's okay. It is okay to be over as hell and be in the mid card.
Jeff Hardy went to TNA.
I understand that that's what you believe. I don't.
Jeff Hardy walked into TNA and immediately was their main event level guy. Jeff Hardy can walk into, in those days, if he went into Ring of Honor or AEW and could have been the top guy. Jey Uso walking into TNA tomorrow will be who knows? Like Jeff Hardy leaving WWE at the time was such a coup when he went to TNA. Jey Uso leaving WWE and going in and say AEW, you do not throw him right in the mix with Jon Moxley. Just doesn't happen. I just don't see the same aura. I just don't. I get it. I respect your opinion. I just don't see the same aura.
And you see, guys, this is how you have a civil discussion with other wrestling fans. You don't have to call everybody a motherfucker or, just.
Well, that's my
speak to
next
that
thing.
level.
But if it didn't work, I was going to just start cursing them out. But okay.
We're going to differ. That's what wrestling is all about. But, guys, enough about Saturday night's main event. We got the Royal Rumble coming up near my hometown here in Indiana, happening in Indianapolis, a 2-hour drive down south. I cannot wait to be there. I'm going to be hanging out with my favorite wrestling junkies that you can see on the screen right now. But guys, I only want to touch on both Rumbles, and then maybe we can discuss some potential surprises because of time. But let's start with the Women's Royal Rumble. Now, first off, let's set the table here. I personally believe that both Royal Rumbles are some of the most unpredictable Rumbles we have seen to date. Usually going into Rumbles, I feel like you have maybe 2 or 3 names that you're very confident in. But I could look at both sides here, the women's and the men's, and probably list off 8 names to win, which is pretty crazy. But let's just start from the top here. Jay Gold, give me a couple names that you think could potentially win, and then who you believe actually is going to win the Women's Royal Rumble.
I'm going to be completely honest. The men's Royal Rumble for me is the wild card. The women's, I can only see one path forward, and that's going to be Charlotte, unfortunately.
Sure.
I do not think that I don't see a woman with the fire and the rocket ship strapped to her like Becky Lynch had at one time, like Bayley had at one time, like Sasha Banks had at one time. I'm worried I'm booking myself into a corner with the women. I think it's going to be Charlotte. I think Charlotte Rhea at WrestleMania is the big match. I just don't know how you put someone else in that spot. I just don't see the giant star. Right. Like, who I just, you already have Tiffany as your champ, so she doesn't need it. You have Rhea as your champ. She doesn't need it. Liv already was the champ. She doesn't need it. Nia always is the person who presses her over their head and throws her out. So I'm not sure if we booked ourselves into a corner on this one. So that's my opinion on the women.
No, that's a fair take. And shout out to Hot Sauce Bill Moss in the chat. He said, howdy, folks.
Hot sauce.
He's delivering mail and watching a main event mixer. There is no excuse for you guys. Yeah.
On a Sunday.
No days off. That's his
Buffalo sauce Bill Moss.
Podcast Dad, who are some of the names that you got your eyes on here in the Women's Royal Rumble?
I mean, clearly Charlotte. I think Becky's going to be involved. Bianca, I think, is a name to watch as well.
Interesting.
Liv Morgan might be somebody to keep an eye out on. She has finished runner-up twice now, so that could be something they could go back to. I don't know. My pick is going to be super dark horsey. I'm going Io Sky because I think they need something fresh. I think they need something not as predictable as what we think that's going to be. Like Charlotte coming back and winning after they have already announced that she's coming back is not as fun, I think, as it should be. And I was texting Ian on Friday when we were watching SmackDown, and he was like, they just announced Charlotte's coming back at the Rumble. I said, yeah. He's like, they did that with the vignette. I said, well, probably because when she comes out, she's going to get booed. And when you have surprises, you usually like them to get cheered. So I don't know. I could also see, maybe an NXT star, maybe winning. Just to make it not as predictable, like maybe a Roxanne, and that's how you get her on the main roster. I don't know. I'm going to go Io Sky because why the hell not?
Well, there's also a name that nobody's brought up yet. What about Jade Cargill? We know she was taken out a couple months ago. I think she's got to be close to returning Mr. Cincinnati, and that probably would be a favorite for the Women's Royal Rumble, I would believe.
Yeah, I think it is because, I mean, no matter, let's just say for the sake of this, she does win. Both of those are matches that I'd be dying to see. Jade versus Tiffany and Jade versus Rhea. I think the problem is we still have this whodunit storyline that would need to get wrapped up on the way to WrestleMania. So it just seems a little bit busy to book her in the Rumble winning storyline as well as having to deal with whoever attacked her and kind of figuring that out. Charlotte is my pick as well. But I don't see her going after Rhea. This would be the third time that we've seen that match at WrestleMania. And that's not to say that they don't deserve to have a rubber match down the line and kind of settle that once and for all. But there's no reason to wait on Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton. There isn't. I mean, Tiffany has been ready since she stepped foot into NXT, and we've seen that's an example of a fucking jetpack strapped to you and where she is right now. That you can have this match regardless of who walks out with that title. It's going to have everybody captivated. I hear children.
100%. Yeah. Who's got children in the background? Is it the
Quiet
podcast, Dad? No. Great Brown Hope. What are some of the names you keeping an eye on here for the Women's Rumble?
I'm always gonna pick Shayna, no matter what, because Shayna to the end, no matter what, man. I'm always gonna hold on to that little bit of hope. But if we're gonna be realistic, I'm gonna pick Dakota Kai.
Really?
Dakota Kai is gonna win it. I mean,
Okay.
I think Shayna Baszler has enough backup in the form of PFC where she can use the Rumble rules to her advantage. Where every woman for herself. I don't think so. We're a gang. We got this. And with the three of them, they could probably clear up. They could clear house. So, but that's not going to happen. What I see happening is honestly Dakota Kai and Io Sky. They're going to go on a tear together, and it's going to come down to them two. And Dakota Kai is going to win. It's going to be Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair, the last four.
That is some
Jade
fun.
Cargill.
Wow.
Yeah, Jade Cargill isn't going to enter the Rumble. She's just going to enter at the end just to eliminate Bianca and kick her ass. That's it.
That is some wishful thinking right there.
Hey, I would be elated with that because I am a huge Dakota Kai mark. But man, I don't know if it's her year quite yet. I mean, trust me, I would be excited for it. But I agree with what Jay Gold and Mr. Cincinnati were saying about Charlotte. She's just a different level. When you talked about Jeff Hardy and Jey Uso, I'm always going to put Charlotte above everybody else. You might disagree with it. You might hate her. She's on a different level than every single other competitor in that Women's Royal Rumble. That's why I don't see her losing the Royal Rumble, because we know she's going to be in it. Like you said, they ran that video package. So who realistically could eliminate Charlotte Flair to set up a feud? I just don't see it. And Io Sky would be my backup choice because they did tease that Rhea Ripley match. I think it was about a month ago. So that would be my second option. But, man, I just don't see anybody else but Charlotte.
I know somebody that could eliminate Charlotte.
Who?
The former TNA Knockouts champion.
Oh
my God, I forgot. I completely forgot that.
I forgot too. Damn.
We're going to get to that. So,
Jordan Grace wins the Rumble.
Let's do this.
That does change some things.
Just saying.
They love her. They love her.
All right, so this is the game we're gonna play here, guys. We're gonna go around the horn. You're gonna give me a percentage of the chances we see them at the Royal Rumble. Let's start with Jordan Grace, Jay Gold. What are the odds we see her?
100%. They love
Podcast
her.
Dad?
Love her.
100%.
Yeah.
Mr. Cincinnati,
Yeah.
Great Brown Hope, 100%.
101.
101. I'll give it 100% as well. Here's some other names: AJ Lee, Jay Gold.
Holy shit. 30%.
See, I'm going 75.
Oh, wait. I gotta ask, why do you think there's a strong possibility?
I think she's gonna be number 30, just to pop everybody.
Okay, Mr. Cincinnati,
27.
27. Great Brown Hill.
Yeah.
95.
Ooh,
You
like
bring her in,
it.
she better win. You can't do that to her.
She was on the last Browns 5-at-5 for a surprise entry.
was.
She got the number 1 spot. So
You can
we're,
check
we're,
that
we're
out
banking
if you
on
follow
it.
us.
We're banking on it.
25% for AJ Lee from me. Nikki Bella, Jay Gold.
100%.
I have to drink to that.
Damn it.
Has to be. Has to be.
Yeah.
Podcast
They-
Dad.
Negative 100. I don't want it.
I don't want it either, but I think it's gonna happen. I have it at 80%.
Yeah.
Everyone else?
$1
Yeah,
off.
100%.
Okay. How about Masha Slamovich?
Ooh.
I love Masha, but good lord. Yeah. They love her. They showed her on the show. So I'm thinking another
Yeah.
surprise TNA women's champion. So let's go with 63%.
I'll go 70.
Is she advertised for GCW?
Yes.
Yes, she has a match with Myron Reed.
Ooh,
No, she doesn't.
Fuck.
it's a
She's
good match.
gonna be there.
We're going to get
Yeah.
scammed.
Okay.
Let's watch
Okay.
that Twitter.
The Hardys had a match before WrestleMania that one year.
Right.
I know. I'm just.
Oh.
A ladder match at that too.
I'm still gonna say 70. I'm gonna keep it moderately
70.
tempered.
Great Brown Hope?
I mean, we're not counting Jordan Grace because she's pretty much gone, but is there anyone else in TNA that could bring in as a surprise entrant besides
Well,
Slamovich?
Well, there's
The big old elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're not
Tessa.
bringing a racist to the Rumble. It's the Royal Rumble,
Yeah.
not the
You
racist
said that,
Rumble.
but you
No.
say
They brought
that,
one.
but
They brought one to the debut of Netflix.
And they learned their lesson from that.
Man. Yep, they
Have
learned.
they? Have they?
I think they would boo Tessa harder. So
You think? What are the odds we
I
see
mean-
Masha, though?
if we don't see anybody else, I would say 70, 75. I mean, they're trying to establish their working relationship. So I think so, 75%.
If Cora Jade is in the Women's Rumble, 100% chance we see Masha Slamovich. But I'll put it
Yeah.
at 50. 50-50 shot. I'd love to
Sure.
see it. I got 3 other names. Two of them are in-house. A returning Becky Lynch, Jay Gold.
yep, 100%.
100.
100
Yeah,
for me.
100.
100%.
Okay. Julia, the NXT champion.
Yeah, another 100%. Got to promote that brand.
I'll go 45. I don't know who eliminates her.
No?
She's one of those girls. She's one of those talents that they bring in, and they're going to let her go a long way to kind of solidify what
Yeah.
they feel about her. There's a
Yeah.
few of them. You know, you had Jordan Grace do it too. So there's going to be another. She's one of those talents that they're going to be like, she may come in one. I wouldn't even be surprised, and they let her go for like a half hour.
Let her
I
run,
wouldn't be
let her run the
surprised.
gauntlet.
Yep,
Yeah.
show
I like
her off
it.
a bit. Yep.
Mr. Cincinnati, percentage?
I'll say 70. They worked their asses off to recruit Julia, to sign her. They gave her all of the time in the world to help Rossi start up Marigold. Give her this. Give her. I mean, she came in, had that aura, star factor. They're doing everything that they want to with her. Why not give her a run? Yeah,
For sure.
I'll go 70%.
Great Brown Hope?
80%.
That's where I'm at. Because there's still just something that's telling me maybe not, but I think it's a great idea to make her the Iron Woman. All right, last name I got for the women's, and then we'll move on to the men's. This is more of a wild card, but we've seen her before. Mickey James.
Yeah.
I'd like to
All
throw out one more name when we're
Okay.
done with these particular. Yeah.
I'm going with 15% with Mickey James. Not interested.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'll go 50.
Okay. Everyone
I'll
else?
say 45.
I mean, Nick Aldis still works there. I'll give it a 75.
That's a good point.
So,
Yeah.
that's your husband. You know?
Let me hear that name, Mr. Cincinnati.
Gail Kim.
Oh, damn.
If there was ever a time, if there was ever a year that it seemed like it would be a possibility, it's this.
They owe her. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually an interesting name. I don't want to say yes because she hates them so much. She had so much shit throughout the years.
I know that, but I mean, if Triple H and CM Punk can mend fences and work things out, I mean, especially with what we're hearing, even from Taker talking on his podcast about what the culture is like in WWE right now that Triple H is in charge, I don't think it's entirely out of the realm of possibility now. She's had a lot of praise for women on the roster over the years, and I think now that they have kind of put this relationship together, why the fuck not?
Yeah,
for sure.
And I'm an iron worker, so it doesn't take much to fix a burned bridge. You know, just a little extra steel, some cement, we're back. So
some money.
Know what I'm saying?
Which they have a lot of.
Yeah, they do a lot of fixing with bridges in this new era. So who knows? Who knows who we could see come back? You know, I like it. I like the Gail King possibility.
So yeah, that's going to be fun to watch. Obviously, Rumbles are always exciting, but the men's Royal Rumble this year is absolutely stacked with main event talent.
It's going to be the shit.
I mean, you can name 8 names: Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, John Cena. The list goes on and on. That's just to name a few. The Rock could be there. We'll talk about potential surprises with the men's too, but let's go reverse here. Great Brown Hope, you're going to start us off here for the men's Royal Rumble. Give me some of your thoughts, some of your favorites, and then who you think is going to win. I'll be right back, by the way.
This roster is just so stacked, man. It's so hard to get 30 guys out of NXT, Raw, and SmackDown and then still fill the void with surprises. Damn. I don't know. I think this Rumble is going to be the Solo Sikoa show, to be honest. He's still got Bloodline 2.0 in his pocket, so I don't know. Either he wins or he's just dominant. He's just dominant throughout the match. They eliminate all kinds of people, kind of like CM Punk and the new Nexus. Sorry. So until somebody comes out and eliminates him, maybe John Cena comes out and eliminates Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu.
Why are you giving Solo so much time? Why? He lost. Why
not? You got to acknowledge Solo too. You got to acknowledge Solo Sikoa. I mean,
I'll acknowledge he's in the match. Sure, he's there. He's there. Hey, I got you.
Man, he's just done such a great job with his character. Like I mean, they're not going to give him the title. They're not going to give them another tag title run. I think giving them a chance to be dominant in the Rumble keeps them as a dominant faction without losing any of their aura, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like they still look like badasses, they look like tough guys, but they got eliminated by John Cena. So it's not necessarily a bad thing.
A 48-year-old John Cena throwing Solo Sikoa out just doesn't work. Like it doesn't sound as appetizing as it used to. You know,
but it's gonna happen.
It's
gonna happen.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna happen, baby! Because the GOAT John Cena is gonna fucking win the Royal Rumble, baby. All right, sorry. I'm
you can already see it. Tama Tonga runs at Cena. He moves out of the way and throws him out. And then here comes Jacob Fatu. Runs towards him. John Cena moves out of the way, throws him out. Then it's just him and Solo. Like that's just how Super Cena works. And we have one Super Cena left in the Rumble. There's gonna need to be somebody that makes Super Cena still look super. So
I guess we'll find out. But we do have a question I wanted to pull up. Will we see Uncle Howdy in the men's Royal Rumble match? I don't think so.
Can you picture him just running down when his music hits?
Yeah.
It'll take him an hour and a half to get to the ring because he's gonna slowly creep up.
He also
I don't think we see him.
I don't understand what Triple H and his creative team have done with the Wyatt Six.
They're on SmackDown.
I mean, they're on SmackDown now. It's a fresh environment for them. I don't think we see Howdy in the match, but if we see Miz and or Karrion Kross, I think that we see at least some tease that story may not be done yet either.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Howdy not in the match, but yeah, I think he's there this weekend.
He'll do something.
He'll be
Yeah.
signing autographs or something like that, or you can meet him at
At
the
Cricket
superstore.
Cricket Wireless.
Too rich for my
Yeah,
boy.
there you go. Cricket Wireless. Yeah. I
Uncle
don't-
Howdy
the
at
amount
Cricket
of-
Wireless this Sunday.
I'll get a couple
That's
drinks in you,
awesome.
Mr. Cincinnati.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
man.
Jay Gold, I know you're going to have to be going here soon, so I'm going to skip Mr. Cincinnati. Sorry, Eric, but
Oh, damn.
give me some of the names that you got your eye on here for the Men's Royal Rumble.
You said it, by the way. I have no clue who's going to win this. None. This is the first time that I'm like,
Great.
no story makes sense to me if I'm trying to book it in my head between okay, why does Roman need to win? Well, he doesn't. He's got something cooking over here. Why did John Cena? Okay, but are we setting up a John Cena title match with who? With Gunther? Okay, I could see that. Why would Seth Rollins win? Well, do we set that up and maybe get him over to SmackDown? Yeah, that could work. Does he go back to Gunther? Yeah, that could work. Like, there's so many things in my head that I can't piece together, but they've done a good job of going to me. This year could be 10 guys shot. You know what I mean? Like, this could be the year for at least 10 guys, and I don't know who to choose. But yeah, it is. It's exciting to. This one's exciting me because I don't see the, when you have the gambling and like the last 10 picks, any one of those guys, you're like, yes, I got number 25. That guy's gonna win, or I have no idea. I could win at 6 this year. Like, who knows? So that's where I'm going. I honestly don't have a number 1 pick for you this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. You listed a lot of the big hitters itself, but Jay Gold, before you leave, what you guys got coming up at the Indie Wrestling Guide next week?
So next week we're just reviewing an Enjoy show, but the month of February, we have some big names. We got the Big Boofa coming on. We have Gabriel Sky. We have some conversations regarding ETU Wrestling, which is launching their tag team tournament in March. So if everybody, I appreciate the main event always letting us kind of do our thing. So listen to the Indie Wrestling Guide. Check out IW Guide 1. And yeah, you can hear us. We have this week is an entire season of Enjoy Wrestling we're going to review. So check us out. I look forward to hearing you guys this week, and then what's going on with the Rumble on Saturday. I hope we can all kind of give each other, our picks and everything as we go along and enjoy the surprises. So have a great rest of your day, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Take care, brother.
Yep.
Pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Talk to you guys
Jay
soon.
Gold.
See ya.
Always a pleasure to be joined by the Indie Wrestling Guide. But guys, we still got to talk about this Men's Royal Rumble. Mr. Cincinnati, you are up. The names that Jay Gold just mentioned. Those are definitely the favorites, but which one's catching your eye?
It just seems hard to root against John Cena in this final year. They have the chance, we saw this with Roman Reigns. They had an opportunity to celebrate and make money off of 1,000 Days as Champion. There was an opportunity to make money off of his 17th John Cena world title. Flair's still in the conversation. Absolutely. John Cena had all 17 under one company. It hasn't been done. And this is the time to do it. I say that he wins the Royal Rumble. The one thing that I really just want to see the most outside of that in this match is I want to see Joe fucking Hendry. That's kind of it. I am just waiting for that music to hit inside that stadium and to have that collective just guttural roar of people flipping the fuck out. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Should I get the wig back on? Should I bring the
then,
Joe Hendry costume?
You should bring the wig. You should bring the wig.
And then Indianapolis is a wrestling city, right?
Oh,
Wrestling heavy over there?
I've been to some quiet shows over there. But the city is just the perfect hub for hosting big events.
Yeah, this one will be good.
Okay.
Yeah, Super Bowls, they've done it all, and everything's like right there. So
I
there's
was
over 60,000 tickets sold.
I lived there when they did the national championship game with Georgia and Alabama a few years ago.
That was a couple years ago, yeah.
It was, the city was insane. So I expect nothing less.
Yeah,
but
so what are you expecting out of this Rumble?
My turn. It's funny. It's funny. Nobody has said Jey Uso. Just want to point that out there. I'm going back and forth. I have been hard on, John Cena's going to win the Rumble. John Cena's going to win the Rumble. John Cena's going to win the Rumble.
I'm hearing a lot of back, not a whole lot of forth.
You would know. CM Punk.
Got him.
CM Punk is in the back of my mind going,
Yeah.
if not now,
When?
when?
Yeah.
Is this the year they let Punk finally get the main event at WrestleMania? I'm
They
going
probably were
back
going to
and
do it
forth.
last year.
I keep going back and forth because John Cena doesn't need to win the Rumble to go win the title.
Elimination.
He's
He
already
does not.
already had that accolade twice already. He doesn't it doesn't need to happen. Punk's never won the Rumble. I'm gonna go CM Punk, and this is the first time I've said it. I'm going CM Punk because if not now, when?
See, that's where I'm being pulled. Is like my heart wants John Cena.
Mhm.
It makes sense for John Cena to win the Rumble, but at the same time, for the reasons you just said, CM Punk also makes a lot of sense. But then also you could see a scenario where Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble and gets right back after at Cody. They can do Cody and Roman 3. It's definitely an option. But what if the rumors that you see online of The Rock showing up at number 31 and stealing the main event from the talent to set everybody up here, because on Netflix he was presented as a babyface. I still think The Rock is doing some shady shit. Great Brown Hope, I don't know if you're feeling what I'm putting down here, but I think there's the chance that we could see The Rock show up. And if he's in it, how does he not win it?
John Cena is going to win the Rumble. And because of how stacked the roster is, and we still have the Elimination Chamber, and we don't know who's going into the chamber matches or match if there's only one. What if John Cena won the Rumble and CM Punk made him defend his title shot at the Elimination Chamber against 5 other guys? And whoever wins that match gets Cena's spot. This way, you get Cena to win the Rumble. You get the feel-good moment and everything. And then Punk confronts him on Raw. Says, hey, put
They
your
need
shot
to
on the line.
revisit that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then this way, you get a main event with John Cena, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, all the guys at the top that want that title shot. And that's where The Rock comes in. He's the one that takes the 6 chamber spot.
Okay. I mean,
and when he said 1, 2, 3, he was saying Mark Coffey, Joe Coffey, Wolfgang, Gallus.
All right. How did I know that was going to get thrown in there? Let's fill up this comment, and then we'll talk about surprises.
Gallus boys to Raw.
CM Punk winning the Royal Rumble, facing Cody Rhodes in a highly anticipated showdown. John Cena securing the victory in the Elimination Chamber, set to go head-to-head with Gunther for an epic battle. I definitely could see those as possibilities. John Cena versus Gunther is something that I think will happen, but I'm going to save a lot of my talk for Thursday for OTM. So make sure you guys are following our respective accounts, at Pod on the Mark for the OTM podcast, at Junkies Pod for these two fellows over here. And then the Great Brown Hope's got his handle right there, and it's also at the bottom of the ticker. So that's where you're going to find us. We have content every single week here at the main event. But guys, let's get to these surprises, and let's go home. First name I got in mind, Aleister Black podcast ad. What are the odds we see Aleister Black?
0, because Eric ruined it for me because of his contract status.
Oh, Eric, are you about to
Thanks, Eric. Semantics.
First name you now, Eric.
God, the one
Sorry
lawyer
that I'm a
on the
lawyer
show
and know
that
how
got a rain
contracts
on my
work,
parade.
whatever.
So it's 0 then, Mr. Cincinnati.
Yeah, it sounds like this contract is until mid-February, I think, is what I heard on Cultaholic earlier this week. So, yeah, no shot.
I'll give it a 5% chance just because sometimes the internet lies.
Fair.
Let's go to a different name for the Great Brown Hope here. Matt Cardona. What are the odds we see him?
0.
You don't think we're going to see Cardona?
I think with how he's established himself as a solo act outside of WWE, he doesn't need WWE anymore. He built his own fan base by himself, and he had that fan base follow him wherever he went, and that's really rare in the business. So I think he's going to be okay wherever he goes. I honestly see him being either in TNA or AEW, but not AEW as much. But I could see him pop up more in TNA and while he does the other indie shows as well. He's just that established. He probably charges more than he can. More than they can pay anybody else, and they pay him.
Yeah.
So
no, that's a good point. And Cardona was on TNA this week, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That could be a possibility. Matt Cardona, odds we see him, Mr. Cincinnati.
I mean, maybe Zack Ryder comes back.
Zack Ryder's dead. 20%.
20% podcast dad.
Oh man.
0.
Joe Hendry podcast dad.
100.
Yeah, I
100.
would say 100%.
Yeah, 100.
Eric,
Should be. He should be number 1.
here's an interesting one. Nick Nemeth, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler. I'd say
75.
50%. Yeah, I'm not too sure on that one.
Okay, 3 out of 4.
Guys?
Yeah, I'm gonna go 65.
0.
Really?
Yep.
You don't need it? Too many big names?
I don't see how he gets anything out of that,
Yeah, I get it.
especially
The
after
Rock.
losing the title. Sorry.
Also true. No, you're good. That's a good point. The Rock. What are the odds we see The Rock?
33 and 1/3.
I like that. How about that Steiner math last night, where Pat McAfee even pulled out that line? He's like, "There's 3 commentators here, so there's a 33% chance that we get it right."
That's
I'm like,
funny.
yeah, that makes sense.
That wasn't
we got
funny.
a comment saying we'll see Alistair Black, Joe Hendry, and Ethan Page. Yeah, that could be a name. I have a bunch of other name guys, but we went a little bit over time, so I'm going to wrap things up here because I got places to be. Podcast dad, Mr. Cincinnati, what's going on with the Wrestling Junkies podcast next week?
Thanks, Kyle. We've got Leah Raven and Mike Law joining the show. Leah on Monday, tomorrow, and then Mike Law this upcoming Thursday. There will be a brand new episode of Wrestle Sips that's dropped. Tucky, if you're still watching, ask and ye shall receive. The Royal Rumble Teeny is drink number 3 this week. I figured I would drop that video just so that everybody else can make theirs to enjoy for this weekend. We will be pre-gaming with them for GCW on Friday when we're in Indy. Yeah, follow us at Junkies Pod. Support the crew at Gorilla Press Apparel. Aaron Wade is TWE champion down in Chattanooga. Don't know how I feel about that. And fuck Tim Bosby. Yeah.
Same.
Well, good way to wrap that up. Great Brown Hope, is there anything on the horizon on the blog for you?
We're kind of taking a little bit of time off right now, working on things, but there's a bunch of stuff coming out. I know me, Tim, and a wrestler we're talking and working with as he's building his way up. We've got a new episode coming out, I think, either today or tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. And he's about to have his first debut match as well for Peak. That's a pretty big deal. We're looking forward to that. You'll see more stuff coming from us for him. So you guys can expect to get to know that name soon. You know, he's just another regular guy just like us who said, fuck it, I'm going to follow my dreams and be a wrestler. So we got his back. We're backing him up, doing what we can to help get his name out there. But other than that, you know, just what I got going on Twitter, I've got wrestling card sales going on. So people who like wrestling cards, holler at me right now. Doing a couple appearances on a couple shows here and there. But other than that, just it's main event wrestling the whole week, the whole month.
The whole fucking show right here.
Oh,
boys.
yeah.
And you can see the Great Brown Hope's X handle right below his name here on screen right now. He's always live tweeting the shows. And guys, I am the host of OTM. As you can see in the background, we will be live this Thursday at 7:30 Central, and we will be joined by our former co-host Erica Marini to dive into the Royal Rumble before I get to see my favorite wrestling junkies in person once again in the Circle City. It is going to be a blast. So don't forget, guys, to show some love and check out all the merch available at gorillapressapparel.bigcartel.com and use code MEM24. You will save some money on your next purchase. Don't forget to subscribe for more main event content. We are on the road to 100 subscribers. It's pretty simple, guys. And just give us a like, too, while you're at it. What do you got back there? Is that for local?
Oh, this is a 4 local soccer jersey. We're going to give this away when we hit 100 subscribers on YouTube for Main Event Wrestling Network.
Love it. And I will give away a piece of main event merch. So make sure you're subscribed and follow us at mainevent_net to keep up with all the content. Ladies and gentlemen, we will talk to you guys next time on the Main Event Mix.